What's up, guys? This is Enhander from Fear Productions, and today I'm bringing you a video that is new to the channel. This video is going to be about Elden Ring, and today I'm going to be going over the different soft and hard caps of the stats in Elden Ring. So there's a lot to go over, so I'm just going to get into it, and maybe later on I'll do a video kind of describing my character, a little bit of my background in gaming and stuff like that. If this video grabs some traction and popularity, we'll see how it goes. It's stuff I enjoy talking about. I'm a gamer. I always have been since I was young. I like this stuff. So we'll see. Anyway, let's get into the video because, like I said, there is a lot to talk about. So the soft and hard caps in Elden Ring are something that you have to keep in mind when you're distributing your stat points per level. So one thing that is the major difference from a lot of other RPGs and like different action games that allow you to drop points into different attributes is, in other games, usually you have a constant, you get X amount of, let's say, hit points per level. So you get, let's say, 20 hit points per every level of, or point distributed to that stat per level. So in Elden Ring, you have soft caps up to a hard cap where you start getting diminishing returns the more you go up, which is kind of counterproductive, but I get it. Each stat caps off at 99 points. So you can, at some point, if you keep playing the game, you're going to get 99 across the board anyway, but we'll get into that. So let's start off with Vigor. Vigor is going to be your HP, your health, however you want to call it. It also boosts your fire defense and your immunity. So these stats also have substats or sub effects. So your Vigor also, like I said, increases fire defense and immunity. Unlike other Souls games, up to level 40 in this game, you get a lot of HP because like enemies in this game do a lot of damage no matter what, even if they're low level enemies. So my guess is that FromSoft just wanted to dole out a lot of HP because you're going to get hit hard no matter what. So on the screen now are the caps for this. So up to level 40 is going to be your first soft cap. You're going to get between 26 and 13 HP. From 40 to level 60, it's going to diminish to from 13 down to either 5 to 6 depending. And then from 60 to 90 being the hard cap, it's going to drop to about 3 to 4 points per level. So you have to plan accordingly there. Next up is Mind. Mind is the attribute that determines how much focus points, magic, mana, whatever you want to look at, however you want to call it in this game. It also governs your sleep and your madness resistance. It's unique in that, excuse me, the amount of focus points it grants increases at level 50 before it then starts trailing off at level 60. So on the screen now are the caps. The first soft cap is up to level 20, should be increasing by 6 points per level. From 20 to 50, it's between 8 and 9 per level. Then you have the small 5-level gap there that it decreases from 7 to 4 with each level. And then from 55 to 60, you get 2 to 3 per level, 60 being the hard cap. Next up is Endurance. Very important stat, especially for your combat characters, your up close melee characters. Endurance handles mainly your stamina, which, as if you're familiar with the game, that's your rolling, your blocking, your attacking, running, pretty much everything. But it also affects your physical defense, your robustness, and your max equip load. The max equip load does have a cap as well. So stamina also works a little bit differently. So from 1 to 12 on the screen now, you receive 1 and 2 alternating points. So you'll get 1.2 point, 1.2 point. Then from 12 to 18, you get 2.1 point, 2.1 point. 18 to 32, 1.2 point, 1.2 point. From 32 to 50, 50 being the hard cap, you get 1 stamina point every 3 levels. Every 3 levels. That's a hard pill to swallow. So I wouldn't necessarily go above 50 unless you want to get max equip load, which the caps for the max equip load, the equipment load are on the screen right here, is at 25 and 60. So if you want to get the max equip load, you have to get up to level 60. So you're going to have to spend those extra 10 levels to get there. All right, next up is strength. Pretty straightforward stat. Strength is dealing damage. It also decreases your physical damage taken. It's one of the main stats from here on out that deals with scaling for equipment. And pretty much for the rest of these, the caps are going to be 20, 55, and 80. So those are going to be what you're going to look at. Some of them have a secondary cap system, and that's going to mainly be your for your spells later on, but I'll get into that. So again, on the screen, 20, 55, 80, and that's going to be dealing with scaling. So next up is Dex. It behaves very similar to Strength, allowing you to wield Dex-based weapons, and obviously grants you more damage towards that end. Also helps increase your resistances, and a lot of other miscellaneous attributes are improved with Dex, including your casting speed, your fall damage, and your resistance to being knocked off torrent. Even if you're not going for a Dex build, it'll be worth putting in. I'd recommend at least up to level 40, or I say level 40 points into Dex. Again, 20, 55, 80 being the caps for that. Next up is Intelligence. And of course, that's moving away from your physical performance. It's the stat most associated with your sorceries, incantations, any kind of your magical abilities. It unlocks use for better magical weapons, casting implements, spells, and it will increase your magical defense. Now, it has the 20, 55, 80 caps, but it also has a sorcery cap for your sorcery spells of 60 and 80 for what their different requirements are. Next up would be Faith. Faith is kind of the counterpart to Intelligence. Does some of the same basic things, but it offers a greater variety of spell types and works with your incantations, and it scales with faith-based weapons and equipment. So it will also increase your magical resistances. It's basically a parallel to Intelligence in terms of its numbers. So it's up to you, whatever preference you want to go with if you're going for a magical build. Again, 20, 55, 80, but it has the incantation caps of 60, 80, depending on what you want to go with there. Now, the final stat is Arcane, and Arcane is what I've been using a lot since probably New Game Plus 2. I'm on New Game Plus 4 right now because I went into a bleed build. If you want to look at it in older Souls perspective, Arcane is the replacement skill for the luck stat. It increases your discovery so you can find items better. Excuse me. And Arcane kind of affects all of those stat-based attacks. So like bleed, sleep, stuff like that. Holy also increases holy defense. Bleed's the big one. It also increases your vitality, which protects you from insta death. This game's version of insta death, which in previous Souls game would be death blight. Um,
Oh my gosh! Camera!
so this again, 20, 50, 80 is the basic weapon caps, but it also has certain spells that have synergy with it, and those have caps as well. So there's hybrid spells that use Arcane that have caps of 30 and 45, and there's pure spells that use Arcane that have a cap of 60 and 80. So you have to kind of look through, at least with these last few stats, um, strength, dex, intelligence, faith, arcane. Those are all scaling for equipment and for your spells, incantations, stuff like that. And then you have the other part that deals with your weapons, mainly with your weapons and your, vigor, mind, and endurance are all going to deal with your character as a whole and how much main stats that you have, whereas the rest of these will deal with equipment, weapons, stats, and all that, and the scaling for each. Of course, each piece of weapon or each gear piece and weapon, shield, spell, staff, whatever it may be, they're all going to have a certain scaling rating, and you want to kind of build yourself around whatever, you know. I'm currently using the weapon you get from Moog, so I have an arcane build, so I can do as much bleed damage as possible. Um, but there's a lot of stuff you need to keep in mind, and Elden Ring can be difficult for some people. Not only it's just a difficult game if you're not used to games like this, but the nitty gritty of all the stats and scaling and getting things just right to build your character just right, it can be overwhelming to new players and seasoned players alike if you don't read between the lines on some of this stuff. So I hope that this helped somebody out. If you guys want to know a little bit more about my current build, what I'm doing right now in Elden Ring, there's going to as you saw, there's gameplay footage of me getting my butt handed to me because I'm not that great of a player, but I enjoy the games. I have kind of my own set way of playing, and that's about what I do. But it's worked so far. I enjoy it. So if you have any questions, comments, please leave them in the comments section below, and I will gladly consider any videos here. I'm about ready to fight the fire giant again. I thought about just doing a small video on the fire giant fight. I'm in New Game Plus 4 right now, so it should be quite interesting. In any event, thank you all for watching. This is Inhander signing off. Have a great day.